Yes, East Hampton Union Free School Board, you are live.
Yeah, no.
Good evening. Welcome to have a motion to open the meeting.
Make a motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Well, you could be opposed. So please rise to the pledge. Allegiance.
United States of America. And to the republic for which it stands.
Thank you very much. All right, I'll turn it over to Mr. Fine.
Yes, we have a presentation from iTry, which is a near and dear organization to our district to the east end of Long Island.
You are the only participant in the conference. All participants are muted.
My apologies, everyone.
Teresa Roden from iTry.
Hey, everybody. You know what? Before I start, can you?
Yep. So we're going to play a little video.
Change is happening. Primarily for your best power programs. Middle school girls are feeling invincible, led by their very own superwoman, Teresa Roden, fueling young girls' confidence through triathlon training with iTry. Push yourself today. That's what today is about. It all started in 2005. Teresa had just completed her first triathlon. I was never an athlete. I was last picked for every football game my entire elementary school career. When I first decided to do this race, I quickly realized that I couldn't continue to talk, have that internal dialogue that I had my entire life, that voice inside of me that said, you can't do this, you're too slow. With several triathlons under her belt, she looked at her middle school daughter and had a thought. We could empower girls at this age and give them all the tools and the training and the love and support necessary to do a really big goal like doing a triathlon. It can change everything. The iTry program is now in more than 12 nearby public schools, offered free of charge. Starting in February, Teresa and her coaches train girls to be ready for their first youth triathlon in July. 11 to 14-year-olds swimming 300 yards, biking 6 miles, and running 1.5 miles. When we empower them at that middle school age, 11, 12, 13, where they're so open to learning, we teach them that you can be, do, or have anything that you set your mind to. But this goes deeper than athleticism. The girls also train their minds through after-school empowerment sessions. We do lessons on things like affirmations and visualization and how to appreciate yourself and love yourself. We do a lesson on real beauty where we hand out geodes and they get to see that beauty is from the inside out. For 11-year-old Amina, iTry has shown her she can achieve more than she ever thought possible.
First, I didn't want to do it at all. I wanted to quit because who would want to do something like that willingly?
She came into the program not knowing how to ride a bike.
I thought that biking just wasn't possible for me. I thought that my brain worked that way, but now that I can actually do it and I've reached all those limits that I used to have, I'm so extremely proud of myself. And now I know that I can reach any limit that I push myself to.
For 11-year-old Tiffany, the choice to join iTry was simple. She wanted to do it for herself.
When I wasn't in this program, I was lame, boring, always like to play around. But when I got in this program, I stopped doing those things. I worked hard and to stand up for me.
Tiffany's already doing it.
I feel like Superwoman, Wonder Woman.
The program has had more than 1,000 girls complete a triathlon. Some of the alumni even returned as coaches, like Sophia Rodriguez, now a junior in high school.
I feel like if I just give them little tips and let them know that I was in the same boat as them. I try. It's a little cheesy, but it's like a sisterhood because we're all together. We're all working towards the same goal.
1, 2, 3, 2. Now in its 12th year, Teresa reflects on the success of the past while looking to the future in this moment in time that we're living right now. Especially for women and girls, there is not a better moment to be empowering young women who will be the future. We are our future. This is so exciting. Put all of that training that they've been doing, they get to put it into action tomorrow at the annual Hamptons Youth Triathlon. So to learn more about the program, go to today.com/health. Cool story.
That was a cool story. A miracle that Today's Show just happened to contact us and got this done in time for it to play the Friday before they raced on Saturday. It was absolutely incredible, and just so I think they did such a great job of really explaining soup to nuts what iTry is, because it's more than just that race, as all of you know. The reason why I'm here tonight is just to say thank you. That the support from the East Hampton School District has always been so phenomenal. And early on, Adam got to meet me as I, ushered in my daughter and her crew, the first iTry girls, and they quickly stormed into the high school and just did amazing things, as have generations now of our iTry alums. You got to see Sophia Rodriguez on there, and I know she's such a big part of the fabric of the school. She's also been with our program since she was in 6th grade at Springs, has stayed, and she's now coaching for us. We just got her trained in WSI along with 2 other iTry girls, and so now they're teaching swimming with us. And as we know in this community, if you can be a swim instructor, that's a great income. They can do that forever and make a lot of money, right? Exactly. And then my beautiful friend, Alyssa Jacoby, here with me tonight, just finished her job with me. She's now our intern this season. Alyssa's from Montauk. You guys all know her from here, but she recently graduated from film school and is waiting to hear on grad school. But the in-between time, she had some time here at home, and she's now interning with us, and it's been phenomenal. Pamela Ramirez, who is also an alum, she is student teaching. She is a SUNY kid who's home student teaching at Bridgehampton, and we just hired her as a program assistant. So 3 days a week after her teaching job in Bridgehampton, she's a program leader, and the rest of the staff is overjoyed just to have somebody bilingual who knows the program in and out. So it's been so wonderful. My big thanks to this district is understanding that we are more than just a sports program. And Adam and I have really been in touch over the years on the mental health front. And the school supports us on our endeavors there. We did a great training last year with all of the athletic coaches and trainings right after we did our own trauma-informed care and coaching training with an organization called the Center for Healing and Justice Through Sport, which I keep saying to everybody should know about this organization. They're phenomenal what they do in their trainings. It's not just about sport, but it's about looking at trauma through a really empathetic lens. It was started by Dr. Bruce Perry, is their foremost scientist, and he wrote the book with Oprah called What Happened to You? And it's about he's the foremost expert in trauma. Like when Columbine happened, he's the guy who they send in. And so it's flipping the dialogue from if somebody does something to you and immediately we say, what's wrong with that person that they would do this thing? Instead, you take a second and you say, what could have happened to that person that would have caused them to act in that way that they do this thing? And so that's where we've adopted that very patient, caring, empathetic approach to the care of our girls. And as you saw in that video, right, they're not here because they can't wait to do a triathlon. They're terrified, right? Getting on a bike at 11 years old and never knowing how to ride a bike is terrifying. What she said, I didn't think my brain worked like that. Mm-hmm. And then to just take it step by step, and then she conquered that fear and she did it. All those girls getting in the water. It just is an amazing thing to see. And then the girls who come back and give back, it's just been phenomenal. So I'm just here to say thank you that we, plan to keep growing and thriving in this community and beyond. And thank you. We will be doing, thank you. In September, and you may all know, they do a great triathlon at Long Beach, the Mighty Hamptons, which is an Olympic. This year, they have decided we're partnering with them. The same race that the kids race in July, we will be doing that as an adult fundraiser race. So I encourage all of you to come out and give it a try. If these kids can do it, anybody can do it. I can do it, anybody can do it. And you can do it as a relay. So you can have somebody do the swim, somebody else do the bike, somebody do the run. And as you saw, you can actually walk that swim.
Teresa, when do you start each year? When do you start?
We just started. So end of February. We start recruiting in the schools in January. We start in February.
What is it? Just middle school girls?
6th, 7th, and 8th is our
6, 7, and 8.
Yeah.
And it's all the districts out here, right? You got everybody?
Montauk to Mastic now, including Riverhead. Yeah.
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 Great.
So, all right. Thank you.
Thank you,
Got so busy,
Teresa.
but Thank you. Thank you.
You don't have to
All
start.
right.
Thank you.
Take care, Teresa. Nice to see you. Thank you. Say hi to Susie.
The next topic I thought was apropos due to the tragic shooting in Nashville. Just to reiterate to our community about school safety and security, and I think I've said it 50 million times to the community, but I don't think it can be overstated. Our district, we continue to dialogue with our local law enforcement, with the town police, the village police, who really are our partners when developing safety plans, security plans. There's a lot of things that exist in our school. Unfortunately, we continue to hear about this with these shootings, which continue to make us go back to the table and have further discussions. Of course, I did not plan what happened this morning with the swatting email that went out to some districts on the South Fork and throughout Suffolk County. The governor sent an email out to superintendents regarding the incident, which occurred, I think, in 50 schools across the state. So our law enforcement are well aware of this, and unfortunately, this is something we're dealing with on a regular basis now. It's just amazing that we're dealing with emails with threats. Again, we did not have the threat here, but it didn't exclude us from the event. We participated, unfortunately, in the event because we had to respond. We had to talk to superintendents, I'm sure the principals had some discussions about it. So again, it's something we continually dialogue about, discuss. It's again, unfortunate that we have to continue to do this.
Can I make a couple points?
Yeah.
A couple things. One, I think that the school district, and thank you for your leadership. I think that we as a board over the years, the public doesn't even know how much we've put into security here because we keep some of it for obvious reasons confidential, but millions and millions of dollars. So I do think that this has been a board and an administration that has done absolutely everything in our power to do what we can to protect our school district, which is our number one responsibility. I do want to say, and it's my last year on the board, I'm not saying this to be political. I'm saying this to be who I am. It's all a waste of money until there's gun control. And personally, I would love, I don't know if it's legal, I don't know if we can, I'd really love to see this board make a statement about that, because we have millions and millions of dollars and we can't protect our kids. And the only people who can protect our kids are doing nothing. And I'm sorry, that's my parting gift to the board is I'll be political, not political partisan, just, there are political apparatuses that don't include school boards that can limit assault rifles. And they're doing nothing and they're murdering our children. And I am so supportive of the kids who are standing up throughout the country to take time off to tell the adults that are allowing their murder to do something about it. And that's my statement.
I agree.
I agree. I agree.
Well, if we all agree, maybe we can talk to our lawyers and see if we can do a school board resolution urging our elected representatives to do something to help us save our children's lives.
Yeah,
I'm for it.
certainly.
100%.
Thank you.
On to good news of the schools.
Good news.
Ms. Cunin.
So on that note of school safety, we met yesterday. Gosh, where are we? Tuesday, just yesterday, with the Village Police Department to plan an evacuation drill at John Marshall. I haven't even put the date out yet to families, but we will be running a full evacuation drill in the beginning of June. And at my faculty meeting today, I explained that to the staff. The timing is just unbelievable that it happened, to be today. But we need to understand and practice what it is that we would need to do in the event of a true and real emergency. And as uncomfortable it is to have those conversations, it's really that practice so that it's second nature, knowing what to do should an incident occur. So I'm glad, and thank you, Adam, and transportation, because there are a lot of moving parts, even just to change a location of dismissal in a building. And so everybody's working together to make sure we get that practice in this year.
How do you deal with, it's traumatically? I mean, as Jackie said, I would suspect that every school has to be ready because it's going to happen. We got to be ready because it's going to happen to us. All right. And no matter what you say, but to think that schools are not sick, but for a kid to be in school and to have to worry about, because he's there, he's probably in more danger than he might be in other places. God knows.
Well,
So how do you relay the kids?
I don't know. Listen, I don't want to be sad. That's me. I'm
I pray it doesn't happen.
I do as well. And we drill in the event that we ever have to be in that situation. So for students and staff know what the
drill is. I hope the other building really
Working on it.
It's just like,
Yeah. We, I just for the boards,
we've done this once
information.
before.
The elementary school has, and the middle school and high school were in the planning stages of doing this with the, for us, for the town. We were working when I was principal with the town. The pandemic hit. Right. There were a lot of nuances. We will start that planning stage with the town to work on that, and obviously the village with the middle school. But there are plans, and again, these are the evacuation drills are obviously for a variety of reasons, a little different, than an active shooter situation in a building, but it doesn't. There is overlap involved in what Karen's doing and an active shooter situation, but it's good to practice it because to go home early drill in the past has always been, we go home 10 minutes early on the day before Memorial Day weekend. So
yeah, that was
yeah, we are exploring real life things, and I commend Karen for, basically saying we're doing it this year. So with the other buildings, we will start that planning process. Obviously, the high school presents a lot of different challenges with that, but we had a pretty concrete plan about 3 years ago that was ironed out until the pandemic hit, and then no one was at school. So
on a lighter note, we started our YMCA swim program this week. We started with our kindergartners. So kindergarten, first and second grade, each classroom will have 3 sessions at the Y. We had hoped to run it through third grade, but I think similar to most businesses, the Y is working with a limited staff, and we were grateful for the time they gave us, and we booked every minute they offered us for K1 and 2.
I know the spring school got cut in half.
Yeah, I know that we're not alone in it.
isn't that something they're supposed to provide for us, though? I mean, that's a contractual thing, isn't it, with us? Am I wrong on that?
We pay as you go,
Yeah.
But we let them use the building for some of our stuff and trade for that, correct?
the camp, yes.
Yeah.
That's
So I mean, I don't know. That's really not the deal. So.
I actually think you're right, Jake.
Yeah.
we tried the camp. I don't know if it outlines how many grade levels. I
No,
have to go back. And
Yeah,
look.
it's supposed to be all, as far as I know, but because we've had this conversation a bazillion times.
Well, we'll look at the contract.
It's new to you guys, but it's same stuff that we've heard for a long time. So if they're cutting it, then
No, but
You know,
we give them
maybe they could
the buildings.
pay for the rent for the to use the
Yeah.
building.
Yep.
I don't know, just a thought.
We'll take a look at it. And I'll give you a call tomorrow.
argument is that,
Not to start a whole nother conversation.
No,
It would be good for all the kids to have.
Yeah, no, that was,
They don't have to
that's
say.
why, that's why we do it, and I remember this
Right.
conversation.
Step.
They're giving some of the time to other districts. Those districts aren't
Yeah.
Or, you know, reciprocating
Yeah.
summer camps.
Yeah, they could put
Have
camp in, right?
prosperity in the other
It
districts.
just always winds up, I guess, the point to me is it always winds up in our lap, you know, with the ones that always have to do both. But anyway.
All right, I'll be happy to look at it.
Yeah, well,
Oh, yeah, yep.
And then lastly, with the week we get back, the timing, we have our state assessments. And I think that I've mentioned to you, but fifth grade is doing computer-based testing for the first time. We had run a simulation back in January. So our fifth graders are ready to take their state exams on the computer, and third and fourth will still be pencil and paper, but that's the 19th and 20th, right when we get back break. So
Are they still doing that with no time limit on it?
yes, no
That's
time.
terrific. That's really great.
It is. It is. It's certainly better than a time limit, but it's also difficult when students are working so hard and we have to encourage them to close the book. We had a number of fifth graders last year that really worked so hard and didn't want to say that they were exhausted, but by the end of the day, they were
Right.
exhausted.
And you
But
believe
certainly
you got
better
a
than
better,
some tests.
It's just better because kids at that age, they test at such different rates.
Yes.
It's nice to
I
have
agree.
extra time, I should say.
the reason some are computer and some are not is because of the age or
We're
what?
phasing it in. The
Yeah.
state's gonna require next year, we'll do all 3 grade levels at John Marshall computer based. So we're just phasing it in.
You think you get more interest because it's on the computer?
More interest,
So your opt-outs, your opt-outs are
minimal.
minimal.
More enthusiasm?
For the
Seems to
student
me to be similar.
taking the test? I don't know. I think it's a little bit of a learning curve, especially with math, you know?
Yeah.
But like I said, they handled the simulation well, so we'll see what the stamina's like when they take the test.
Well, at least we're lucky enough to have a district where we have computers. How are they mandating that when a lot of districts?
Our infrastructure is in a good place.
Solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're mandating, and there are
Yep.
plenty of other schools that we're a little different.
That's a good point.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hi, everybody. Just to build off of Adam's comments on school safety, we did have a faculty meeting as well yesterday where Sergeant Alversa joined us just to review school safety, also to mention to faculty and staff some of the pretty important improvements we have made this year. So thank you for that. Some that were named are additional lockdown buttons that we put in place. The fact that we now have a full-time SRO in the building is a substantial improvement for us. And also the fact that we are moving towards our own security team will be a huge help for us at the high school. And we also reviewed lockdown procedures, exactly what to do, the fact that our faculty should be reviewing that with their classes prior to. We are doing, and that we had an announced lockdown drill scheduled for this week. Given the proximity to Nashville and the events of this morning, we have opted to postpone that until after break, because as much as we could announce it, there's always going to be somebody who doesn't get the message, and we don't want to create panic over that. So we are going to move our lockdown drill to after the break. On a much later note, we had Dr. Carderas present to our 9th graders today and our student leaders on social media and tech addiction, and what that does to the brain and social development and just our human habits in general. It went very well. We followed the general presentation by a roundtable discussion with our student leaders. We had about 40 students in the room to talk about what do we do to address social media and technology and adolescent mental health here. Sort of the beginnings of a student task force in terms of what we want to do in the future moving forward to address that issue. As we know, it is rampant. And so it was wonderful to hear their thoughts and their voices. With the help of Dr. Carderas, they came up with some ideas, one including the idea of a digital fast, where students could potentially voluntarily give up their cell phone or their social media for a day or a week, whatever we can kind of come up with, and then perhaps journal about it. And Dr. Carderas was saying that in some of the other schools where he's done that, you know, day one, it's very uncomfortable for the student. By day 3, they're sort of getting used to it. And then by day 5, they're cured or what have you. But definitely to kind of track, you know, how that helps them understand how social media and technology affects their mental health, their wellness, just their state of being all the time. So it was very interesting, and it's sort of a kickstart to our student task force on addressing social media, technology, phones, and mental health. So it was great. Also, we have wonderful news out of guidance. Thanks to our guidance department processing over 973 applications. And also thanks to our students and families truly leaning into the college application process. We have students going to so many schools. So I'm going to rattle off a few different categories. We have some really top schools that students have gotten into, including Bates, Boston College, University of California, Santa Barbara, Colgate, Cornell, Davidson, Emory, George Washington, Harvard, Harvey Mudd, University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, Middlebury, NYU, Princeton, Scripps. We had one student last week get into both Harvard and Yale, so that was huge. Villanova, Union, and the list goes on. We've also had so many students take advantage of CUNY and SUNY schools, which is wonderful. We have, pardon me, sorry, Baruch, Brooklyn College in the CUNY system, John Jay. SUNY, we have just about every SUNY listed, including Binghamton, Portland, New Paltz, Old Westbury, Oswego, Geneseo. And what was actually really cool is we also have so many students who clearly found the perfect fit for them. So some unusual ones, we have the Fashion Institute, FIT Fashion Institute, New York Institute of Technology, Richmond, the American International University in London. They don't know yet that I will be visiting the School of Visual Arts. So truly like a wonderful representation of, you know, our students' futures and where they'll be going. So very exciting.
It's very impressive. I'll tell you, these kids
so exciting.
I would not want to have to go through that process.
Well,
As an adult again, or as a kid again, me.
And what I'm always just so impressed by, because it was honestly so different than when I was doing it eons ago, but they are so invested in the process, and you know, yes, and it pays off in most cases. So
I looked at that list before Adam sent it around, and I just was like, wow.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And I have to say, I also thought to myself, like, it's been a process to get the curriculum, the classes that have been added over the years, the opportunities that the school, the research program, you know, the AP programs, the great leadership that we have at all the buildings. I think they all cumulatively over the past 15 years have led to a class like this where, you know, it's really exciting. Really, so well done to everybody. Congratulations.
Thank you. I will pass that along to our guidance department.
Definitely.
Thanks.
All right, public comment. Do we have anything LTV for public comment? Any callers?
We have no callers for public comment.
Thank you very much. Consent agenda. Have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion.
Second. And just, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Superintendent's report and recommendations. Item number 1, recommend the board approve the following resolution. Resolve that the Board of Education of the East Hampton Union Free School District, pursuant to Rule 14 of the Suffolk County Civil Service Commission, and upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, does hereby appoint Marcia Diaz to the position of Principal Office Assistant for a probationary period of 26 weeks, commencing April 5th, 2023. To be paid at the annual salary base of $78,840. And make a motion. Second?
A second.
I see Marcia is here. Thank you very much and congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
It's nice when we see people that are, you know, moving forward or even getting hired. It's nice to see a face, but thank you and we appreciate you.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 2, recommended the board approve the following resolution. Resolve that the Board of Education of the East Hampton Union Free School District, pursuant to Rule 14 of the Suffolk County Civil Service Commission, and upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, does by appoint David Bondenise in the position of Network Systems Technician for a probationary period of 26 weeks, commencing April 10th, 2023. It will be paid at the annual salary base of $54,660. Can I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Position's been open all year.
Are we now filled with our techs?
We are filled. We're still looking to add another one to be up to fully staffed and fully covered. So this has been vacant for almost, I think, a year now.
This is the first, but we got the list.
Yes, the list finally came out. Yes.
Oh,
This
so it's
is-
because the list wasn't out.
Yes. Yes.
No problem.
And we didn't have anybody to put in there. Yep. Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 3, recommend the board approve the following resolution. Resolve the board approve the following appointment to teach an additional section of instruction effective April 5th, 2023 through May 5th, 2023 for Amanda McLeary and the amount of $20,146. Can I have a motion? Second. Any discussion?
Cover and a leave replacement.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 4, recommend the board hereby accepts the letter of resignation from the following employee, Nicole Tejada and NSD Diana. Have a motion?
I make a motion.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 5, recommended the board approve the following appointments for the 2022-23 school year. That begins with the summer school program and it goes to interscholastic coaches. Have a motion?
I make a motion.
Second. Any discussion? Pretty much standard fare. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 6, recommend the board approve the following resolution. Resolve the board accept the second and final reading of the following amended policies. It's A through F. F being the education of students in temporary housing policy number 7131. Have a motion?
Make a motion. Second.
Any discussion?
It's just standard.
Yeah, we have,
State,
we have the
Yeah.
vote though, right? We do vote? I ask it, I think every time, you tell me yes every time, but all in favor? Any opposed? I'm gonna ask next time too. Number 7, recommended that the board, approve the transportation agreement between the East Hampton Union Free School District and Project Most for the purpose of providing transportation services to Project Most for a field trip to the Parish Art Museum on April 14th, 2023, in accordance with the terms and conditions set forth in said transportation agreement, and authorizes the president of the Board of Education to sign the transportation agreement. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second. Discussion?
So they reached out, last summer, we provided a bus for them. Last summer, we did a contract and now they reached out to do a trip. Obviously, this is over the vacation. We have the transportation available, so we worked out a contract to help them out.
They pay for it.
Absolutely.
It's great. Works
That's a good.
for everybody.
one.
Yep, they're very happy.
And if we have a
We're
driver,
happy.
that's even better.
Yep.
That's a good thing.
Right.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 8, recommend the board approve the following resolution. Resolved that the Board of Education of the East Hampton Union Free School District hereby approves a letter of engagement with CBIZ Valuation Group LLC of Jackson, Wisconsin for fixed asset valuation at no cost to the district in accordance with the terms and conditions set forth in said letter of engagement and authorizes the president of the Board of Education to sign letter of engagement. Have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second. Discussion?
Sam?
Part of the annual audit, we need to place a value on what we hold as property. It's called fixed assets. Was what our internal audit focused in on this year. We have not had a full evaluation of all of our property. It's not real property, it's goods. In 5 years, NYSER, our insurance company, will fund it every 5 years, but I think we need to get in a habit of actually doing this on an annual basis. It creates for a cleaner number in the audit. And it's also a good way for us to track our fixed assets to make sure we are keeping track of everything that we have.
So the insurance company pays for it once every 5 years, and you're recommending that we then pay for it on the intervening years?
Yeah, so we're doing the full evaluation. They're going to send technicians here and they're going to walk around with barcodes and
Like the computers?
to check everything. And then if something doesn't have a barcode on it, they're going to put one on it.
Right.
What we can do in the intervening years, either we can have them back and do that again, or we could have them do it all off the paper. We give them a list of what we've sold off or excess, what we've acquired. They do the devaluation of the property based on standard schedules and come to the valuation of what we have. also good for our insurance purposes, to
Right.
make sure we're insuring what we have at the correct level. So some years, in the intervening years, some years we'll just do it off the paper. Some years we'll have to come back and check everything again. We'll have to see, tackle that as the price, goes up and down.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 9, recommend the board approve the following resolution. Resolve the Board of Education of the East Hampton Union Free School District hereby approve the letter of engagement with EFPR Group for the annual external audit for the purposes of periods ending June 30th, 2023, in accordance with the terms and conditions set forth in said letter of engagement, and authorizes the president of the Board of Education to sign the engagement letter. I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? This is
Annual
Annual
external
value.
audit. Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 10, recommend the board approve the following resolution. Resolve that the Board of Education of the East Hampton Union Free School District hereby authorizes a budgetary increase to the following line, budget line, the 2022-23 school year budget, in the amount not to exceed $20,035, to be offset by the reserve for employee benefit accrued liability reserve pursuant to the General Municipal Law, Section 6P. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Okay. Not sure what it's.
Sam, explain.
So again, when an employee separates from the district, we put all their money based on what their contractual agreement with the district is. This one is for an employee who's leaving unused sick time. By contract, we're required to compensate her. In the past, this has come out of our general operating budget. We have a healthy reserve for this purpose. Our general budget needs to pay for other things, so we use the money out of the reserve to pay for this. I foresee this process really where we're going to be going forward for probably what's the long term here, rather than raising money for it. We're funded
Every year.
reserve as the time comes up. This is the procedures. We ask you to increase the budget, offset by the reserve, and then we pay out the money to the employees.
And does the board have a question or anything? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 11, recommend the board approve the following budget transfer. It's a transfer of funds from the contractual to tuition, the amount of $69,200. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second. Discussion? Not to look at you again, Sam, but
To pay for special education
Okay.
as students individually.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I got everything. So, so going on to old business.
Yeah, it's just the budget. Next meeting, you will adopt the budget. Sam will have a final number for you with everything, all the recommendations, all the budget hearings that took place. We will be under the cap.
We're under the cap. We don't want to make any changes on the next meeting. There's too many other calculations that we'll need to approve that evening. Everything flows from the budget number. So if there's any last minute changes you'd like, that would be really good time to speak them out.
So you want us to give you a couple of things?
I thought it was a blackout.
We're good.
Everything cascades from the bottom line number, and we will have to approve. You'll have to adopt the budget and the property tax report card, which has a number of data in it. And if you change the budget, then everything else will change. And I have a rule: I don't do math in public. So it's now or never. Yeah.
I think that, we should take that college list that Sarah just presented and clip that to the copy of the budget, and that, and also for the kids, going on to BOCES programs and going on and starting their life in small machine repair and military, because that budget is what prepares all of these kids for their lives. So.
Right. So we have nothing on a new business. I'm going
to take a copy of the budget.
So far. We'll call you tomorrow. So new business, nothing. Public comment again?
Can I just ask one question? Because I remember for years back in the day, this is before Sam, probably before some other people on board, you know, when we were cutting budgets, we eliminated, like, we had a super expensive printed newsletter that went out everywhere, and it went out a lot, and we cut that down to just the one, which was the budget one. Is that is that going
Yes,
out?
that will be going out.
That one has to go out by law, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, so that's going out, and,
Yes.
and that,
So that there's two mailings. One
Okay.
is required by law. That's the 6-day budget notice. It's the 8
Little
by 11 piece of
Card.
paper. It's on card stock. It has a
right,
lid on it.
With all the numbers.
Right. That's required by law. The budget newsletter is not, but it certainly is helpful for you to explain to the voters what you're putting before them.
have we written that yet?
Yes, we've
It's
been,
most of them.
yeah, Sam, myself, have worked on it. We highlight exactly what you talked about. We put pictures in it. We see where the money's going. We'll put the capital reserve piece on there, and then it'll go out for print and it'll be mailed out to everybody.
Anything else? All right, public comment. LDB, do you have anybody on the phone for public comment?
You have 0 callers on the line. Thank you.
Is that Matt?
Hello,
Back
Matt.
from the past.
Matt. Good
Haven't heard that
good to hear your
before.
voice. Good to hear your voice.
Excellent.
All right.
But you have 0 callers. Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, I make the movie move.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Sarah. Congratulations, Marcia.